Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to VTP Stage 2 Online Technical Tuesday Coaching Call 176 for the 6th of January 2026. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good break over the festive period, and I hope you're ready for another eventful year in markets, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we've got coming down the pipe. Great to have you here. Okay, we'll be running the stage two calls throughout the year. I'll be trying to break up bits of it and put it into the sort of socials and the FX Trader Paul, Forex Trader Paul YouTube page as well. So if you can't catch all of the sessions, you can only catch little bits of it there or watch the recordings. Great to be here. Great to be back. Okay, I'm easing myself back into it as well. Okay, so doing these as part of actually also spooling myself back up to pace after a break as well. So we'll see how we get on. As always, you're very welcome here. Just remember that you're always responsible for your own trading decisions. And if you want some help to make 2026 your best trading year, the VTP Trader Accountability Group, okay, that starts again this week. Our first live session is this evening, okay. If you can't make this evening, the sessions are recorded and you can watch and join. And that is a weekly call, part of a small group that basically just variably providing discipline, accountability, and consistency in your trading. If you want to be around better traders and help you develop, then it's the group to join. And you can ping me if you want, or there's a bit.ly code or a QR code there that you can utilize. Okay, let's as always, let's finish with sterling here. So bang cable. So we had that the double bottom in front of the budget. We bounced off the 50. 130 is the big level there, and we've just rallied up from there. Part of that was that dollar weakness, dollar kind of strengthened from here. This is with the that kind of dollar low, where dollar rallied up to 100 is also where it took us. And this is the shows that when the dollar gets going, it tramples everybody. All right, that's why I always start with dollars. Start with dollar index. If you can understand what that's doing, you can position yourself accordingly. But we got that double bottom, and then we've worked our way up, and that's dollar weakness and a bit of sterling strength there. Okay, and we're above the averages. We're starting the year above the averages. The daily chart. Okay, you just look at that. We had that kind of coiling up there in front of the budget at the end of November. I don't think there's anything good at all about the budget other than people at least knew they were getting shafted. There's the kind of certainty of the shaft, shall we say? And bang, sterling has worked its way up. And once again, as I said, there is still an element of that anti-Trump, anti-dollar trade that has been going on that has basically lifted sterling. Okay, and that's what we've seen there. That's a trend, all right. That's a trend. So you want to ride it, not particularly fight it there for cable. And pound against yen, we've just looked at, bang, you can see that. That is just, as we've just said there, fabulous trends. The interesting one, pound against Swiss franc, that was a scruffy trend for most of last year, but you can see on that weekly chart, that was basically bang, it worked its way down up until sort of November time, and then we've actually worked our way up. And part of that is, I think that's probably a bit of, as I said, Swiss National Bank shenanigans, okay, in terms of what they're trying to do. They were getting moaning and whinging about the Swiss franc being too strong, and maybe there's been an element of them manipulating and maneuvering in markets. So we had a little bit of a bounce there, didn't we? And we've just kind of gone. But interestingly, we started this week, bang, we just we just had that pump there, all right. And I wonder, is that actually Swiss franc weakness more so than sterling strength? So that's that kind of it's curious to me why that has happened. All right, that's curious. On the flip side of that, what we've also seen is that as euro weakness. So, we spent 24 in that great downtrend. We double bottomed, okay, at the end of 24 into 25, pumped, came back at the 50. We acted as support there. This was a 3-bar reversal there. The 20 across the 50 and worked our way up, carried on up, and then we hit this kind of 87, 50, 88 area for years has been a kind of a level there. And a very, we've come off there. You can see we've come off there, and that has accelerated. And that I think is more euro weakness than any real sterling strength. If we go down to the daily chart, It's kind of almost like a broadening. We can see that we started yesterday with a real dump. I'm completely speculating here. This could well just be me, more so than anything. I wonder what we saw was the Americans, making things happen. All right, in Venezuela at the weekend, and my view is that both both Starmer and his little European buddies came out and basically sort of, they both said that the Americans and Trump had not told them about it. And I think that kind of just reiterated how obsolete and out of the loop Europe is these days. And what we saw was then basically, I think Saturday night, we saw the British and the French bombing targets in Syria, and I can't help but think that was just a bit of a cynical look at us. We're still relevant kind of move, all right, more so than any strategic objective. But as I said, that's me speculating. I could have got that wrong, but that's my particular view, and I wonder whether that Euro sell off is part of everybody just coming to the fact of what I've been saying for years is that Europe is just an open air museum, right? We're just basically becoming obsolete and doing itself an absolute disservice. And of course, Mr. Starmer wants to sort of run back into there because he's that's his job to basically crush the British economy and take us back into Europe. I've always said that. As I said, maybe that's just me being a cynical old codger, maybe. But anyway, we will see. But there you go. The Euro weakness is pretty much there. How's it doing against the Condols? Well, you might say, do you know what, Paul? Bang! This is pound against Aussie. After moving there, we have done that. Let's just put this in place. It's a bit of a rough one, but bang! We might be looking at that. That's a bearish level at kind of two. I should be at two. I don't know why that's. Maybe I'll probably just shifted that. Yeah. So yeah, I wonder whether we're going to just work our way into two. All right, we've just seen how Aussie strengthen. I wonder whether once again is this a kind of a bearish channel into a downward descending triangle, and then basically does that break. If two breaks, then that is real sterling weakness, Aussie strength. Okay, that just we'll just work our way with that. Pound against Kiwi dollar, you know that was that was Kiwi dollar weakness and a bit of sterling strength. I was curious here because I thought that what we see is invariably we'd worked our way up into this a double top with a bearish key reversal. That's kind of what I like to see. What kind of curious to me is we couldn't break the 20. This is this is why these guys, these averages, how they can help you is just like if the price can't break it, well, it's not ready to roll over now. I thought maybe what we might do is might pop and then create kind of a lower high here before rolling over, but it doesn't seem to be interested in doing that at the moment. So yeah, I'm a bit curious about that. My overall, my kind of analysis would be, well, we get ready to roll, but the 20 is acting as dynamic support there, so I'm going to be waiting for a bit of PO20 to see what the score is there before I change that daily chart on it. I mean, all right, you've got a messy couple of weeks, but the start of the year has been pretty strong there. I'd say, all right, a 4 hour chart, 4 hour chart. Maybe do we get a double top off that? Bit too early to say, but that's what I'm looking at there with that. And pound against Canadian dollar, this was another one that intrigued me. Is we've been in that real scruffy uptrend, but at the end of last year we came back to the 50. See how we found support at the 50. We've done that there, and I thought we might after these kind of big pinballs. I thought, oh, maybe we'll squeeze up to the 20 and roll over and crack and work our way lower. But as you can see, that has not occurred. That basically yesterday was just basically long short in CAD, which I found strange. Whether that is because of the Venezuela and the impact on oil, etc., maybe. But we can see that has worked its way up there. And this morning's okay. It just put in that kind of nice sort of head and shoulders there, okay, before it rolled its way back to the 50 on the 30-minute chart. There, it looks like it's going to flip it this afternoon. we have got Canadian data's on Friday and stuff, but yeah, that kind of a bit like the pound against the Swiss franc, that kind of gave me an indication, and I wonder whether that's actually Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, whether there is a bit of a commodities play going on there. Would have to wait and see. Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Right, a bit of a longer session, but we've been away for nearly a month, and it's the start of this new year. I hope you found that useful. I hope that's given you a little bit of help and a bit of insight to look at some of those big trends from last year. And as we start this year, to be ready to position ourselves when they come our way. Okay, as I said, I know I've said it 5 or 6 times, but that's because it's important. Is that there will be. I know there will always be right? I all know there will always be 3 to 6 super trends through the year, but here today, I don't know when they're going to come. I don't know where they're going to come. And so this is why you do your weekly analysis. You just get into a routine of doing it. And as you do it every week, just by naturally, instinctively, you start to notice the shifts. Okay, when markets are transitioning, and you start to see, the shift across all of the currency pairs. Okay, and that comes with just experience and just doing the work. There's no other way I can describe it. But anyway, we'll be here every Tuesday. I hope you'll join us. Hope you'll find some usefulness in this. And I hope that we'll have a great trading week. And I'll speak to you soon. Many thanks, everybody. Cheers.